Hello, all of my hellion minions. Welcome to another show. Let me start off by saying fuck the system. And this video is going out to a guy I've been following for a few years now called Murray Rottenbach. Murray Rautenbach. He's one of those guys who just hyper uploads constantly. You feel like he's going to run out of things to upload because of how much he uploads every day. But he's a fan of very subversive political music, and I follow him to check out other subversive political bands. And I don't know, about a month ago he quit uploading, and he was gone for about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, and I started asking around in all of our little punk rock groups, like, has anybody heard from Murray? I mean, is it all right? Did the revolution happen in South Africa? I mean, what happened to Murray? And then all of a sudden he popped back up, and it's just like, I was taking a break. Sorry, guys. I was taking a break. Maybe he finally went through all of his records. I don't know. So, in honor of Murray coming back to us, I want to show you a band that's definitely one of his favorite bands, if not his favorite band, Crass. Crass is from the land of Epping, in the realm of Essex, from the world of Angels Land, and for the layman, that means England. They started in 1977, and they would break up in 1984. Crass is a very unique band. It seems like every 10 years there's a whole new cropping or grouping of punk rockers, young bucks, young does and bucks who find Crass, and they feel like they found gold when they find this band. But Crass is an art collective. They really weren't musicians so much, which you can definitely hear. And their biggest contribution to the world of punk rock was their profession of the world of anarchy. I would say that Crass started the anarcho punk rock movement. If they didn't start it, they definitely popularized it. Other bands like Crass would be probably Crisis, who would go on to form a band called Sol Invictus. There was Icons of Filth, Disarm, Chumbawamba. Yes, the band that sang "I get knocked down and then I get up again." That band, yeah, they were one of these anarcho-punk bands in the early 80s. Another band would be, well, I don't know. I don't follow a lot of this music. But, I mean, you can make an argument for somebody like The Exploited when they sing songs like Fuck the Poll Tax. And all the really highly political stuff that was coming out of England in the 1970s. So, anarchy, how do we feel about anarchy? It really isn't a governmental system, because anarchy doesn't believe in authority or leaders. You are your own authority. That's what anarchy is. Most of us think anarchy is protesting in the streets, setting things on fire, flipping cars over, pushing against the police or the National Guard or whatever, and the powers that be pushing back, throwing rocks, yelling, waving flags, little tiny papers in the air. That's what we think of anarchy. Hell, let's bring the guillotines back out. Start beheading people. Yeah, I can see that happening again. That's what we think of anarchy, and that's a perfectly acceptable definition for the term of anarchy. I mean, that's what anarchy is. But Crass has decided to use the nihilism of the newfound music of punk rock to profess a version of anarchy that has been around for 2,000 years. It's very primitive. It's a very simple concept. And this is what they profess, and this is highly influential in the punk rock world, the alternative rock world. The bigger these guys get, the more this message gets out there. And honestly, most of us do this without even realizing it. We're all anarchists to some extent. So a good example of anarchy, according to Crass, would be like the bus boycott of the civil rights movement. You have a bunch of black people who decide they want to vote, and we're going to start boycotting buses because this is our main mode of transportation. We're fucking up the Department of Transportation by not putting money into their hands. We're not going to our jobs, or we're going to our jobs late to serve our compassionate or uncompassionate overlords. And you're essentially screwing up supply and demand. You're screwing up the economy by engaging in this activity. This is anarchy. Anarchy, according to Crass, would be farmers. All farmers are anarchists. Maybe not in the beginning, but if you engage in corporate farming, then you're not an anarchist. But if you engage in farming that serves only you, your community, your family, friends, and neighbors, well, the prices of what you're farming have gone drastically down. And you're screwing up the economy by only serving these people. You're an anarchist. Buying solar panels, even though they're not talking about solar power in 1977. Buying solar panels, putting them on your house, making the electric company actually pay you to run their electricity through your house to get to the next house is a version of anarchy. So these are the themes that Crass talks about, and it's fascinating. And this is why when all these little punk rock kids find this band, that message resonates so hard in their heads. What else can I say about the amazing Crass? Well, let's talk about their music. It's quirky, it's different. Like I said, they were an art collective. They weren't musicians. So half of their music is noise, and then half of it is kind of like music. There's nothing traditional about how they play, how they harmonize the melodies. There's nothing traditional about this. It is truly punk rock in its purest form. Yeah, you could even go as far as to say this is art rock. I did recently find a band called Amadots out of Wisconsin who kind of played music similar to Crass. Definitely were influenced by Crass. They were more concerned about feminism, things of that nature in the early '80s. not so much anarchy, though feminism is a part of anarchy. You know, you get direct action, fighting for the rights of everybody in the world, level playing field. That's all a part of anarchy. But yeah, Amadots was a band that was kind of similar to Crass. But yeah, I have never really heard a band quite like Crass musically. I mean, there's bass lines in this that remind me of early 90s gangster rap out of California. That those really long, drawn out Casio bass lines that NWA or Tupac used to use. I can hear that in some Crass songs. So, I mean, there's a lot of really different sounds going on in this band. Um, Other than that, I don't have much more to say about Crass. I mean, going back to like farming and things like that, I can tell you a funny story. I mean, think about like all the people. It's like, I'm not getting vaccinated. I believe in freedom. No vaccinations. But you know what? They'll go to a grocery store and they'll buy a sack of oranges or a watermelon that has no seeds in it. And it's just like seedless oranges, seedless watermelons. Great. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. There's nothing natural about a fruit that has no seeds in it. That is a corporate fruit. Do you know how easy it is to grow a watermelon? You don't need to know anything about agriculture, anything about farming. All you need to do is eat a watermelon and spit the seeds out in your yard. And there's a good chance a watermelon's going to grow off of that seed. You don't even have to bury it. It's how easy it is to grow a watermelon. In fact, I got in trouble as a young child. I grew up in the deep south, and I took a watermelon and planted it in my backyard where we had this big rainwater ditch. It was, it's 100 degrees outside. There's tons of rain. There's a muddy patch. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start growing watermelons. My parents found that watermelon a week later. They're like, Holly, you need to get that out. Dig all this out. No, by the end of summer, we're gonna have this entire yard is gonna be covered in watermelons. Get all that out of there. We can afford a watermelon if you want one. So I mean, why are we paying $15-$20 for a watermelon when they're so easy to grow? This is what Crass is talking about. I mean, I live in a country where you have to be 21 to smoke a cigarette, to drink a beer, to eat a marijuana gummy. 21 years old, but you know what? You're a first-time gun buyer? Hell, you're 18. You're old enough. We'll give you a discount. You can buy an AK-47 right now. This is anarchy. This is what Crass is talking about. They're talking about the hypocrisy of every system in this world, not just the capitalist systems, but the socialistic systems, the democratically socialistic systems, the communistic systems, the fascist systems. They're talking about all the systems of government. So how about we listen to this revolutionary band? And I'm not going to play Murray's favorite song. I'm going to actually play two of my favorite songs from Crass. And that would be System and Big MAN. So, are you ready for it? Holly's going off the rails tonight. Let me go ahead by starting off by saying fuck the system, and let's do this.
to know just what they got. Fuck all now, what they got. Swimming pools, where do you get it? Follow the rules, system, system. Keep their fingers on the ropes, then I let us understand. But I better call the truth. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. They tell you to do it, drive up and turn the line. They tell you if you do it, everything will turn out fine. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, what a wonderful life. God, queen, country, can I tell you can't wife. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, what a wonderful life. God, queen, country, can I tell you can't wife. It's great if you do it, it don't take a lot. Just means you must destroy and sensitivity you've got. Well, that's easy, darling, that's who's gonna get. 21 plus shit, or a currency step. Step over the evenings, for a little slide. People like the blokes, fucking first the black and white. Lots of my judge for that lad wants to know. Louis Johnny's farm, or right to the go. When I'm on the wheel, you're at some cunt. Turn off the penthouse and a motor out front. The police also the charges for a bright attention lad. 20 feet of anyone, there's to be had. Others quite a range, so just on a spike. Taking off frustrations and just normal life. Some headlights in the army, been playing off the front. Stab me and fight it, fuck them in the gut. Looks like your uniform, all right to the skirt. When you're back to go to proper ten and then I start. Man, it's spelled, big game, it's the letters of the law. Man, it's spelled, big game, that's who the law is for. See, there's lots of chance in this land of glory. Try and make your own rules, that's a different story. If you're a man, you better act like one. Develop your muscles, you should print like a gun. Fuck and the moves, never got a price. Still first slaughter, let's do advice. Are you man enough? Like the most of the rules. Have you got them tights? Guts and balls. Get him in for manhood, we got them too long. And it's your slaughter, to put them up. Big man, big M-I-A, big man. 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 K-O-K-E, big man. What fucking joke. The bastard!
There you go. There is an excerpt from one of the most classic English punk rock bands in the history of the genre, the mighty Crass. Yeah, so, you know, there's an election coming up, and there's always a box that says other. So I want to see how many people write in Hollygeist. I need to get, I'm thinking about trying to get maybe 2% of the vote, and I will be your anarchy president. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.